Hi, folks. Hopefully this is a little better. I got an email from Sharon confirming that we were on for tonight, and she said, "But please call me." And so I called her, and she said, "We scheduled a meeting for tonight, but I have a parent in the hospital, and I need to be there." So I said, "No problem." She said, "Will you get together an agenda, go in and facilitate the meeting?" And you know, what I will tell you is just because we've lost our head doesn't mean we should lose our direction. But what I did was I went and I got a card for her. And so if we could just pass it, she's really brought us together as a team, and so I think we should do something nice for her. If you feel like it, put a little money in the envelope. I will order some flowers and send them to her. I know people at Laco who can get them to her, and we'll just kind of roll forward from there. So I'll pass the card around. I was limited because between my school and here, the only thing I know of is Food for Less. So the sentiment is strong, but the card selection was limited. So I'll pass that around. Hi. And we'll get started. I have an agenda. Oh, yeah. I'll pass the card and a pen. I have sent around an agenda that I typed up, and it has... The agenda is teams will continue with the creation of SMART goals. I had put review of the minutes on here, but we do not have the minutes from this meeting or the meeting on the 14th. So
we have, I sent the ones out from the 17th via email last night.
Oh.
So most people should have
Okay.
got them. Yeah.
So has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from last week? Has anyone not had it? Not completely. Does anyone have a printed copy? Okay.
I think there's like 12 pages of minutes, so it's not practical to pass the. Sorry about. I just type whatever everyone says.
So we have a few choices. One choice would be to table the review of the minutes from last week and the previous week to our last meeting, give everyone a chance to review them between now and then come to that last minute meeting with corrections, and use our time here tonight to do two items, which is we need to do the compliance, professional development, and every student, every school groups to meet and come up with SMART goals for their group. And we also, I think, need to review the last week's work, all the work that all the committees did, and present that out in committee here and gather suggestions. So I'll put it out to the group. Those are basically the three tasks we have. We need to have a review of the next steps, deadlines, and then the board report.
I've not started taking minutes. Do you want me to take minutes for tonight?
Please.
Okay.
So how do we feel? How do we want to proceed? Is there something on this agenda we'd like to make number one? Are we comfortable with the order I placed it in? Because I'm not married to the order.
I agree with you on tabling the minutes.
Okay.
So, do we want to confirm which minutes we're talking about and then take the motions?
It would be the minutes from the
17th of March are the ones I sent round via email last night.
And then,
the 14th.
were there two sets of minutes?
There
Or
was
just one?
only one set was circulated, and that was from the 17th of March.
And then the ones that you sent out last night were from
From
when?
the 17th
From
of
the
March.
17th.
Right.
That's this.
Okay.
I second the motion to table.
We don't have a motion.
Oh,
Yeah, I second that.
But were we, I'm just trying to confirm which minutes, because I thought you were speaking of two sets of
The
minutes.
17th of March. is
And the
only
10th of
minutes that were
March have not been
circulated.
reported,
And the 10th of March, okay, 3/10.
because those are the ones I typed.
But they've not been
They
circulated.
have not been circulated, and they have not been reported to the group and not been approved.
Was that the 10th or the 14th? Confirming.
10th and the 17th.
The 10th. Okay. All right.
17th were circulated to everyone. The 10th have not been.
Okay. Well, I don't think,
Do we have a motion?
well, I motion that we table both sets of minutes from, the minutes from March 17th, 2012, and the minutes from March 10th, 2012, to be reviewed at our next task force meeting, which will be March 28th, no, today is the 28th, April 14th.
April 7th, isn't it?
April 7th.
Is it April?
April 7th.
April 7th, okay.
No, it's not April 7th.
Yes, I have
It's
April
April-
14th, I have a printed
Right, it's
version.
April 14th. It's not
Yeah.
April 7th, that's Easter weekend.
Yeah,
I
Like the
second
school's
that
closed.
motion.
Well, wait, let's determine our date. So the 14th?
yes.
Okay.
9 a.m., that would be a Saturday then, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
That's the 14th.
Right.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. How do we feel about the rest of the order of the agenda? Are we comfortable with reviewing last week's work and then doing splitting into groups? Or do you want to split into groups first and then go to committee work?
How about that item 4, next steps, deadlines, and the board report? If we finish that up, then all the rest of the business will just be on the subcommittees, right? Because that's real quick, right, isn't it?
It
Talk about the
Well,
next steps, deadlines, and the board report?
Well, it's really just kind of a wrap-up item so that we know when our next meeting is and all of that, so that I can look it up while we're doing committee work.
Well, our next meeting is the 14th.
Okay.
I have the printout from Sharon.
And when's our deadline?
Let's see. On April 14th, it says, let's see, on the 18th, special ed task force meeting, 6 to 9. And then on the 23rd, did we add something beyond the 23rd? So it looks like the 23rd, per the email that Sharon sent out that I think was the last one with this information, April 23rd, documents must be submitted to meet the board agenda deadline.
Could I ask, after our meet on the 18th, there'll be a bunch of documentation that's been prepared, and that gets funneled to a small subgroup for packaging ready for the board. Who's the subgroup? Has that been defined yet?
I don't think that group's been identified. So I think we need to identify our proof group.
Will those be the proof group? Okay. And I don't know if you've gotten all of the leaders yet either. I don't know if Sharon has gotten that information. I know that was something she wanted. I don't know if that's been communicated to her.
I think that would
either.
be, she hasn't communicated that. I think that would be something I'd feel very comfortable leaving for the meeting on the,
Okay.
on the 14th. Because it gives us time to focus on, I think the focus of tonight is really reviewing what we did last week and in the time since last week, and splitting into groups and getting SMART goals written. Does that sound like a good plan?
Sounds good.
Which one do you want to do first? Do you want to split into groups and do compliance, professional development, and every student, every school to meet in groups first? let's do the group work first. Why don't you say yes, yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay, so do we have identified leader for compliance?
We didn't
No.
are they taping? Jim, are they taping? Because we haven't introduced ourselves.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're taping. Let's go around the room to my right and introduce ourselves.
We need the attendance sheet too.
My name is Tony Brandenburg. I am a parent, an activist.
Pam Allen, teacher specialist with the Special Education Department.
Mary Brandenburg, parent and activist.
Warren Skidmore, CAC member and parent.
Sharon Leffler, principal at Daniel Webster School.
Stephanie Cosi, teacher.
Allie Schulte, special ed teacher.
Don Short, parent and part-time terrorist.
Really?
It's only part-time, don't worry.
Is this the time?
Don't worry.
This is the time.
Let's not come back after that one. Okay. Louise Bell, a special education parent.
Ruth Ann All Slippa at Sierra Madre Elementary.
Kathy Hennigan Batista, special education teacher, Don Benito School.
Carol Higa, program coordinator, special education.
Susan Go, I'm a special ed teacher.
Carol Locke, special ed at Marshall.
Judy McKinley, instructional assistant at Field Elementary.
Jim Albanese, principal, Focus Point Academy, and pals.
And I would like, there's no administration well, except for Carol Higa. You're a principal, right?
That's administrator.
Well, what I mean is
No, district level.
district level. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you.
Hey, and I just want you to know I actually met our new executive director of special ed today. He came to my school, and I did get to meet him, and I mentioned the meeting tonight, and he expressed his condolences. He's very sorry. He had another engagement tonight and was unable to attend, but he looks forward to meeting the committee and reviewing the work we've done, and he's really excited to be here, and if first impressions say anything, he's a great guy. I like him a lot already.
Did he go to PALS
Yes, he did.
when we were already out?
Yes.
You were in the community.
Okay.
You were in the community. But there was a teacher present.
Okay.
We need access to a first impression. Yes, sir. Just saying.
Everyone will have their chance, I promise.
I wanted to ask, I just wanted to just remind everyone about the inclusion statement and just to restate that I'd like to see the words dignity in here and respect and mutual respect. Actually, I think that would transfer well. If we could just at some point in time revisit this and as we start to edit and look at those two words.
Is she okay?
If everyone would add a number 5, we now have 2 of the 3 members of the subcommittee that worked on the definition here. We stayed after at the last meeting and added some language that I think we'll be ready to present tonight, and if not, we'll present it on the 14th.
Did we ever receive? Oh, I'm sorry. Did we receive the documents we requested for the subcommittee? I don't remember receiving documents. Remember the list that was presented? And we were told we would get those documents because they're vital for the subcommittees. Did we ever get those documents?
I'm being told April 21st, all the documents will be made available.
April 21st.
Some of... I don't have anything. I honestly, folks,
I know.
Two hours ago, I got the call.
You're just the messenger, I know.
And
I was just asking if we had gotten them.
I will make a note and send an email to find out about, when those are coming. I've heard the words of 21st, but let me confirm that and make sure. Okay.
Oh, I didn't get it. We named a date.
I can't see how we can move forward, really. Well, I can't. For us, I don't see how we can move forward without information.
Not for me.
Like we wanted the transportation schedules, et
Let-
cetera.
I understand. I know that the administration group, and I can pass these out I'll do that later. I know that the administration group met last week and we were able to go on Google Docs and we completed our SMART goals form, which we tried to get out to everybody, and I've got copies of it. I think we did some good work, and while there might be revisions, we've got the bones and structure. So what I'll encourage us to do is the same thing that we did last week, and that is go through, write the SMART goals that we can so that we have the bones. And as we get the documents in, then we can, if there are changes that need to be made, we can make those kinds of refinements.
The 2011, everything that was. Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me call.
Thank you. I have two requests. One is I would like me to be put back on the email string. I get dropped off about every other week, and I'm not getting any emails. Leffler.Sharon@pusd.us. Second of all, I'd like to request that you send out the working draft of the definition of inclusion to all of us to look at ahead of time so we can consider it and perhaps present that at the next meeting after we've all had a chance to look at it.
When we get Mike here, if we have the definition, we'd like to present it tonight. So I've asked everybody to add a number 5 to their agenda so that we can read it, but we will absolutely share it out. The inclusion subcommittee for definition did meet at the end of the meeting last week, but I'm going to pass an email additions. If you didn't get emails this week, please add your email to this list and we'll get you taken care of.
So I guess to clarify what I'm asking, if we don't get to number 5 tonight, or if Mike doesn't bring that tonight, or if, I'd still like to see it ahead of time before the next meeting. Thanks.
Absolutely.
I was unable, what do you call the Google Docs thing? All I had was blanks, so when I opened it. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or exactly what the deal is. I think it doesn't like me.
I couldn't open yours.
It isn't personal, but I printed mine out so that you can at least look at a hard copy. If you write corrections or suggestions on them, I will act as a typist for the administrative group and fix them.
I think I'm on.
I don't know if we have to add everybody.
Are you on the email?
We have to have somebody request to add.
Oh, I know what it was.
That's for people who are on.
You're on
For
that.
gyms, I wasn't allowed access.
Okay, so will all the people, if I understand correctly, we're going to go ahead and number 3 will become number 2. So we're going to split into our groups and start the real work that needs to be done. And then we'll move on to a review of last week. And then we've got our next steps and deadlines taken care of. So we'll move, and then we'll try to do the inclusion definition at the end. So all the people from compliance, can you raise your hands? Okay, 3 of us will be in the hall. Everyone from professional development. Okay, 2 of you, 3 of you. And every school, every student.
Big group.
Okay, so why don't we have every school, every student meet in this room? We will have professional development meet in the hall. And can we have compliance meet? Is there an office that we could work in? Do we have keys to an office? Down the hall? Okay, so they'll meet down the hall.
No, darling. For curriculum. I started.
I'd like to meet.
Curriculum? That's fine. Well, we had 3 groups that met last week. I was going to have the other 3 groups meet this week.
For equal time.
For equal time. And then if you want to meet in your subcommittees, that's fine. I mean, if you want to get together and discuss things that were discussed last week, go for it.
Aren't the
But I
groups
think
that-
we want to give the 6 groupings taken care of so that while we have our FaceTime, we can get those done. I'd encourage people to meet in their subgroups. I'm sure administration will meet again either online or face-to-face.
I have all of my, I have all of the information from last week written up, put into categories. So should I just pass that out, or how do we do that?
Well, I think what we're going to do first is we're going to divide into our 3 groups for compliance, professional development, and every student, every school, and then we'll come back and we'll have each of the groups from last week share out what they did as a group. Is everyone in agreement with that plan of action? Yay or nay?
So all of us are meeting in our respective groups, like we were group 6.
So everyone let's do it again, and this time we'll stand up. Everyone in compliance, stand up. And if you'd stand next to each other, because there are only 2 of you.
Well, plus you.
I'm not that important right now.
Stand up with the group.
And then just stand right over by the coffee pot.
Breaking your own rule.
And then professional development.
He needs a mic.
Yeah, I have the mic. Professional development, if you'd stand in the back corner. And then the last group that we have to meet that hasn't had a chance to meet is every student, every school, and if you just stay seated right at the tables.
Because we're going to do that.
So as you can,
Collaboration and the curriculum and classroom and
That's the Tuesday, Thursday.
You're going to make it more confusing.
I'm sorry. That was last week, so we're doing the
gonna
other.
follow up.
sorry, yeah. I'm only on one committee. You know.
that's okay. And so then what we'll do is, then when we'll go and meet for an hour with our 3 respective groups, and then I'll ask each group if they need more time. If we need more time to get work done, how much time do we need, do we think, to report out from last week? 30 minutes?
But what about the group that we have? We're transition. But we need to meet, don't we? I mean, we're here.
Okay. So would the groups like 30 minutes to meet before they report out?
Do you know the password to get into?
Hold on, let me take care of this issue. Let's figure out what we're doing, and then I'll start getting passwords. So do the groups from last week want 30 minutes to meet to discuss what they went over last week before they report out where they are?
Yeah, I think
Do I hear all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll meet for an hour in our 3 groups for this week. I will then have you guys form into your groups from last week, and you can come together with your presentations to the main body. Does that work for everybody? So we're going to be in our new groups until 7:40.
I just want to make this point, though, because there are groups that have, people are in more than one group. So last week, our group had, I think, 3 or 4 people because other members were sitting in on other groups. So I don't understand how we're going to have a full group ever.
Well, that's why we created the Google Docs, was so that they could be shared out by everyone and everyone could work on them online. Now, that's my memory of what happened last time.
Everybody hasn't been able to get online to get into them. So.
I'm going to work on a solution for that because I think there's a very easy solution where I can just send everything as attachments to everybody in the group. So I'm going to take that upon myself as the temporary part-time facilitator to come up with a solution for that. Okay.
Because there wasn't one of the groups, the pre-K group, I just changed the name.
But you couldn't open his, could you?
Exactly.
Could you
That's
open
what I
his?
did. And that's what I shared out, yeah.
Oh.
And so if you clicked on theirs, I've shared the document and there was a link there. And you just hit it and it would open up those 2 pages.
But see, when I clicked on his, I was denied access.
I don't know what
Okay. Does anybody need anything? You need smart charcoal sheets. Do you need?
What do you need?
Let's see what I've got for you. You know I do. I'm willing to give up my consolidated automated recommendations list, just in case this doesn't have one. And these are. You've got it covered, right? So this is. This is every student, every school. Does this group have an identified leader? Oh. Is there a co-leader who could step up? First person to make eye contact with me.
No, I'm on the other group is
Do you guys want to take a 5-minute break?
the every school, that one. I'm on that
Every
group.
student, every school? Mike will be here in 5
Oh, I
minutes.
shouldn't be. I thought I'd taken myself off of and only been on 2. So, am I on which group is that?
Ask him if he'd like us to wait.
No.
Lauren's gonna try to get Monica.
So let's take a 5-minute break.
So we can catch her up on that.
Thank you, Ruth Ann, for asking and clarifying.
Well, don't go inside because they've got everything taped. Is there anything that this group needs? Is there anything you need? What? 10 pounds of $100 bills. All right, I will go work on that. If I fail you, I apologize ahead of time. Here's my energy. I'm sorry. No, the line toss. Maybe you guys can sit over. Group, I've had a suggestion. If you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you can hear my voice, clap 3 times with your eyes on it. Rather than going inside because I am afraid about the wires, my suggestion would be, why don't you guys go ahead and use the microphones? There's nobody else in here, and then you'll be able to hear everyone.
We prefer to do this. Do you really mind? I mean, are you telling us no?
Don't trip.
I'm not going to trip on the wires, don't worry.
What group are you guys?
Collaboration.
You guys, okay, you guys have met before, let's go over it again. You're Maverick. Go for it. Go for it. Can I offer you chairs? No. I know mine. Pick me up. I know you're kind, man. That's why I'm supposed to sit in the chair.
In other groups.
Thank you, Joe.
What up? Did she just say what up? She did. Is she throwing up? Okay. Chill.
That's a great idea. I like that. Yeah, that's right. I mean, last night, they were here, you know what, we were tuning in and out. They were here. I thought they were trying to have things down starting early and that. I thought the idea was to do it by 8. They were here. Well, at 10. So they're back to maybe 10 was the kid. They were going over to midnight stuff. Trying to snapshot.
He's sitting in his buddy's chair.
by blank. The curriculum specialist will design these Monica, what I do is I put something in, about district curriculum specialists working with the director of special ed to infuse the concept of partial participation and prompt hierarchies into lesson design so that teachers start thinking about in terms of like this, how this can be used for all students, second language learners, students that have significant disabilities or that who are impacted by autism. How to get there is another thing, but just set that in so that people can. He's got to move. He was like,
Tony's looks the same as mine, basically.
10 more minutes? Okay. I'll make my way around to you, Garrett. Do I let strike you as a road? I'm accountable to my staff.
Accountable to my kids.
We're slotted at 10 more minutes. Do we need a little more time? Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do about another 30 minutes? Would that be enough time? Okay. Okay. 30 minutes, guys? Let me show you what I did. That doesn't make it right, but it's what I did.
A child with a G2 could be at any school. The procedure is very, very simple. It really is the same procedure. You know what? I think what's happened, and I'll share this with Mr. Russo. What's happened is that we've kind of gotten into our parents. You know, we've gotten comfortable with it. There's a safety and an enclosure, and there's like an enclosure and safety and a nurturing that look like, for example, look at my offer, and she words, and she's like this, and I have to explain really, let me go slow. It was a lot of cheating, and a lot of years, one of the children ended up in my room. Taken from that, which was, you know, this isn't school. But and I had him come and stay with us and see the different opportunities he had. But, you know, being in school where kids can come up and talk to him and ask about what's going on and get some, and learn what she brought in and actually thank you, sir. And where's your man here? You know, there's from parents and from staff, they don't realize that children bring something of value to all of us when we use their child as more hospitalized and more hospital settings, hospitals working classrooms, certainly in the kids. Yeah, but parents are really almost special ed schools up. We have to look at the idea that because they don't know, they get things seeing a different way of things and so it's going to be working with them and helping them, showing them classes where this is done, how it works, how it can, but right now it's also about we talked to the Congress and then like the office staff was like, we need some help with these supplies. That doesn't come out of our funds. We don't need to know what we're in the school. And that was the And so we're like, and so the first day we brought the kids in and introduced them. She said, love it at first sight. It was all like groups of friends. That was a story. But I'm going to keep looking at the Google Docs, and I kind of did some format stuff in there. There's some stuff in there, so if there's stuff in there in the Google Doc that people don't like, all you have to do is just, you can highlight the whatever it was, the concern, and just copy it and paste it somewhere else, and then just take out anything that I put there. I just put something together, just kind of start laying some stuff out so that everyone can take a look at it and see how to input and how to feed into it.
You guys, they don't have to report to this. You aren't sloppy. Aren't I good? It's my modesty that's truly overwhelming. That's right. You know, they gave me a pin for it. They took it away though because I wore it. And I'll try and put on my smiling face. The sneer and the cynicism and the sarcasm. It does feel true. I'm glad you're forgetting. Bye. Not a good subject for me today. I've already had my suspension. I don't suspend.
Board of Education adopt culture statements.
My
They have to solve that part. What happens is that if the language is used that language is there, then there won't be a challenge to the concept. It's going to be how are you going to implement this? How is this going to be implemented? What's the contractual language? And that's done by stuff in there, and then if it doesn't work, like I said, just pull it out. But I just wanted to get something in there, something Thank you.
We are at our time. How are we doing, groups? Groups, we are actually out of time. I've been sitting talking. Do you want 5 more minutes? 5 more minutes to finish up what you're on? And then we'll break into our groups from last week. That's what we're looking at. You think it's the facilitator, I keep track of those things. I'll find it for you.
That's what I was looking for, the clipboard.
Excellent. Do you guys know what clipboard ended up for signing?
We never saw it.
Oh! They get as far as me and stuff. It's right there. It's right there in front of this guy. And this lot. There it is.
That's okay. Did you sign?
And thank you for all the emails. Okay, Tammy's going home. You're on your own.
No, that's another.
I'll be here for another half hour.
Come on.
Then I'm gonna go home.
There you go.
I haven't. I think it's part 2, Jim. It'll be the second one.
Never been in a bathroom. I'm a true rock. I'm a true rock. Because if nothing else, if I used to do this a lot, and I did all of the really hard, but at least as an administrator, I figured out I would not know. But I used to tell them my staff, I said, you know what, I love it. It's the one thing you know I really need to know today. And they say, Janice, that's a good home.
I'm on way too many committees.
You really are.
You should be like Carol and just dump them all and get on one. Carol, don't be as wide.
Okay, so our other committees.
Oh, I have one. I calendar.
No, here it is. Okay.
What else am I on?
Everybody, if we could come back. As we come back, if you could find the sign-in sheet, and please make sure that you have signed in. If you didn't get a chance to sign in. So, if you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, raise your hand. If you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you can hear my voice, clap 3 times and put your eyes on me. Very good. Okay, folks, we are back from our subcommittee work, and we're going to be moving toward, we want to go back into our groups from last week and review what recommendations we had and maybe write some more if you didn't get a chance to do it. I believe that the administration and qualified staffing and hiring group, if you didn't get a copy of what we did, we typed it up. It's on Google Docs. I'll make sure everybody can see it this week. But I have this as kind of just something that everybody can review while you're in your subcommittees. The subcommittees, as I remember them then, are going to be administration and qualified staffing and hiring. So will everyone who participated in administration and qualified staffing and hiring please raise your hand? Okay. Can I have that group sit over by Mr. Costello? And then our second group is pre-K transition and extended school year. I believe that group has taken, that's up at the board area. So anyone who's sitting,
You like those chairs? Yeah.
please join them at the dais.
Oh, die.
That's
I've never known.
if you don't know the title, please make one up. And our third group, evidence-based assessments and practices, and curriculum and classroom, and collaboration. So if my collaboration, curriculum and classroom, and evidence-based assessments and practices group could meet to my left,
Yes.
Again, okay.
will be set. And so I will go back with administration and qualified staffing. Any questions or discussion?
Did you get?
I have the thing that we did. I
Oh,
printed it out.
did
So
you,
we can go through and
did you
work
get what
stuff.
Tony sent? No, but, see, I can't open that. Could you open, were you able to open that, Doc? So, oh, you got your laptop? Oh, good, I can at least see what it looks like. Thank you.
Everybody's got one. Does anybody need anything before we go to my subgroup?
Where are we meeting? Oh, over there?
And you feel free, remember, you can dance groups if you're in more than one.
I'm looking at the goals for professional careers development. I know that this is only moderate severe, at least the old credentials include autism. So it's just that. Are you joining us? Part of a mild moderate. Okay. I want to take more. Is there a program that well right while they're employed, they're
Folks, we have 15 minutes left. So if we could wrap up our thought and come back and maybe report out. Sure. There's been a suggestion from the floor. Would all people who are willing to stay till 9:15 please raise your hand? If you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you can hear my voice, clap 3 times and look at me. Pam.
She can't hear your voice.
There's been a suggestion that rather than rush, thank you. There's been a suggestion that rather than rush our last 15 minutes through, that we stay an extra 15 minutes, and that'll give each group 15 minutes to finish up what they're working on. If you're in agreement with staying just a minor 15 minutes, if you just raise your hand. A paltry 600 seconds. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Nay. Big mouth. The 2 nays are noted for the record. It is voluntary, folks.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Okay, why don't we all come back to the table and we'll share out by groups. If we could sit together as groups, I think it would help. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up to respect everyone's time because we had some people who wanted to leave. Anyone who would like to stay? Anyone who would like to stay can stay and work in their groups because we don't have, much time. So why don't we have our group up top come down and join us?
That would be helpful. If you have that information, share it.
We're going to give each group 5 minutes to report out. Is there a group that would like to start?
I thought we were doing inclusion.
Transition has offered to report first, so we'll give them the mic and let them report out. If we could have everyone's attention. There will be an opportunity to continue on your group work at the end of the night.
Hello, Pam.
Would everyone please stare at Pam? I am grateful for your dedication and hard work, but transition has asked to start.
Okay, I'm going to just give a real quick overview. Initially, our group started with Garrett and myself because other group members were in other committees. So Garrett and I got together and we just built out the template. starting off with some transition ideas. We came up, and of course adhering to the recommendations. And then we went on, we found we had to pretty much write the recommendations for the area of extended school year. However, by then, we were joined by 2 other members, and also Pam Mellon was able to hand me some information about the extended school year that we didn't have a chance to incorporate yet. So in conclusion, I'm going to take everything we've put together so far and put that information in Google Docs, and all of us have agreed that we're going to go in and continue to build on the proposals, timelines, barriers, et cetera. So that's where we left off.
Our studious group in the corner, would you like to go next? Do you have a leader? Tony, are you the leader?
I was going to say, we'll do a duo. You do the stuff that you know most about, and then there's a bit at the end that I know about, I think.
What's the task?
What group are you?
We're the collaboration, curriculum, classroom, evidence-based assessment.
Okay, would you report out if you'd share out where you are in the process, any of the SMART goals you've written that you'd like to share with the group, and maybe what your next steps are?
Well, we're still. We're cross-referencing and from the recommendations into the objectives, and taking sometimes two things that are supported to come up with an objective, and maybe there's some overlap, so that might show up again in another objective. And everybody so far is putting things in right now. What's happening now is that now that this is starting to take some shape, we're getting everyone's input, and then it's a matter of starting to adapt it to where the recommendations are, and putting them and supporting it with the research. Let me find one. And some of these are going to overlap with every school, every student, every school. This one, I don't really like the wording of it, but it says acceptance of all students at all schools. One of the things that I dislike about it is there's words that I like better than acceptance. However, if we read this literally, it means that every school must accept the students that are assigned to the school. So there doesn't need to be any more of this we don't have housing for this child, or we don't have a location. It's like, that's not the question here. This recommendation is that all schools will accept the students that are placed at the school, whether they come in, may move in, or whatever. So anyways, by August 2012, every school in PUSD will increase the educational opportunities for all students to receive instruction through the general program by some percent, as documented by disaggregated IEP documentation of general education program participation. Then the idea is, there's your baseline, now you got to build it up. It's got to go from that percentage, and you've got to build it up. Statistically, 3% is a realistic growth target if we're talking about growth in a target area such as reading or whatever. So at least 3%, maybe as much as 7%. But what needs to happen is using that information, which is available to the district in Eagle or wherever, how at this school, what is the percentage of time that these students have general education program participation. Take that and then build from that percentage 3 to 5%. That's that target for the school, and every school needs to do it, and that needs to be written into the school site plan. That's part of, and that's, put it in there. So, is that a goal? Yeah. Is it realistic? Yes. Is it evidence-based? Can it be checked? Yes, all of these things. Obstacles? I haven't put a timeline in yet. Obstacles? Adoptive curriculum may not be accessible for students with different learning styles and abilities. For example, open court's not accessible via a computer, so some of these things need to be adjusted. I don't know where open court is as far as the adoption. I would hope that it's not going to be readopted by the district, and it should be just about at the end of its life here. But that's for smaller minds to determine. Assistive technology has traditionally been very difficult for students to access services and devices, leaving less options to access core curriculum. So these are obstacles, and I haven't gone into the, to access yet. Do students have access to typical peers? Do they have access to the general ed curriculum? And do they have access to the general ed curriculum, physical access to classrooms? Because right now I can say, in my years here as a parent here, that typically our children that are in special education, their access to general education materials is usually the book that says obsolete, or it's on the list of, we're going to get that to you as soon as we have enough for the important kids at the school. So and that's not the language that's used, but that's definitely the message that we as parents get when we're told we don't have a reading book for your child, but we have it for the children in the rest of the second grade. So, and these are the kinds of things that end up, when we want to talk about avoiding lawsuits, these are the kinds of things that end up in OCR complaints as a group of children who aren't being given access to curriculum. But anyway, leaving all that alone, you don't want a second goal right now, do you, really? Because I can keep going.
You're actually at your 5 minutes, but that was an excellent goal. No, and you. No, and hopefully, are your goals going to be online so we'll all be able to see them?
Oh yeah, you can see them right now.
Awesome.
All you have to do is open it up, and just for everyone, if you want to add any ideas in, just when you can open this template and go all the way down to the very bottom. Type your name. Just write. I have some ideas. You think you might look at this, or a suggestion, or something that might work for one of these objectives. Take a look at this, or if you have some ideas that you think might fit into what we're doing, just put it down there. A lot of times we'll copy it and just move it right out. Supporting research would be very helpful.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Cheers.
I'm going to hand out Finance Committee. I was on the Finance Committee, so I printed out what we had typed in. And then I will tell you that we've made a lot of changes. So, do you want to hand yours out also? Carol? Carol, do you want to hand yours out also?
Judy.
Oh, Judy.
Yeah, just broadband.
We use this document shared on Google Docs, and we also have one that Judy's passing out. And what we did was we went through and we identified all the areas that the studies had identified, and then we listed additional suggestions, because part of our charge was not just to do what the studies had identified, but other areas that we felt were important. And so as a finance committee, we went through, sorry, wrong hat. As the administration, staffing, and hiring committee, we had other areas that had to do with hiring, and also some that we were just discussing on training. So we do actually, if there's anyone here who's part of the staff development, we would like to pick your brains or have you look at what we're going to be posting tonight and tomorrow, and to see if there's some crossover. So if anyone's on professional development, please look at this. Anyone else from administration have anything to add?
Jean, do you want to say something? It is, Carol Higa was the scriber, and she and Jean and Kathy Bautista and myself, it is on Google Dot. We have set up something with regard to an autism certification. Credential for those who are in mild to moderate, and it would be, an additional. They have it all the way through to a time lock. Right. So it's online.
Okay,
Is this for professional development?
Oh, I'm sorry. We were talking admin, staffing, hiring.
Yes.
No, it's professional development.
Okay.
And then we added professional development, starting with administration, Board of Education, teachers, gen ed, special ed, classified, Teamsters, and parents. And yeah, there was a big session on parents, both applicable things for at home as well as in school support. So, and as I said, it is on a Google Doc.
Inclusion documents, since there's so much inclusion in here, and there's a lot of duplication of documents that already exist. So I'm just wondering, do you want to update or change them? Like develop information materials for parents and staff. There are already information materials for parents and staff that's required procedural safeguards. And the staff is also they're under number 1. There's already developed information materials for parents and staff. Maybe you could be more specific what that is. Like there's already procedural safeguards that come out with the IEPs. Come out, when they want an IEP, and then there's already information that comes to the staff prior. I just want to know that I'm just talking of what I'm reading, what I was given. Am I lost? Well, I'm sorry.
Hey.
No worries.
She's talking to your stuff, I
Okay.
think, number 1. So
I just want to make sure, like, if we are talking about recommendations, they're not things that already exist. Okay.
on the Google thing.
We don't want to change other people's ideas because other people have great ideas. Maybe they're just not being specific on what they mean. You see what I'm saying? There's something that they want.
We haven't, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that the goal number 1 is information for parents and such, and theoretically that already exists because there are safeguards and other procedures that already exist. As a committee, as this committee, we haven't talked about that one in specific yet. But you're saying to acknowledge what's already in existence when we're writing any objectives about them.
Under 3, we did something similar. Support collaboration to ensure materials, curriculum implementation of standards, assessment funds. I thought that came under ours.
Some recommendations, as you look at this chart, are duplicated in other committees. And so I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. It just means that every committee that, or that we're covering it from different perspectives. Because materials from a professional development perspective are different than materials from every student, every school perspective, which is different from a other committee perspective. So as long as we're each looking at it from each subcommittee's focus, then I think we can merge them at the end.
I got you, Mike. Get it now.
No, that's great.
We're at the end of our time.
Jim, can I say something?
Oh.
We had a Board of Directors meeting for LDA of California on Saturday. Our folks who are watchdogs over teacher credentialing told us some very devastating information. We've always joked about that class that regular ed teachers have on disabilities. For special ed, is that one class that they have out of their whole. That has been removed as a requirement for regular ed teachers. And, huh?
Been gone for about 5 years.
What do you mean it's been gone?
It's been gone for longer than you think in college coursework.
So for regular ed teachers coming out of college for 5 years, it's been gone?
Yes.
Well, these gals are college professors, and they certainly weren't aware of it. And I just think we all need to be aware that anybody that's coming out of college that's a gen ed teacher has had no introduction to special ed.
I remember that.
Okay. We are out of time. I'd like to just talk about
Because I remember Pam saying at another event.
our last item is, I think we need to just quickly talk about making our documents accessible to everyone here so that we can go through. Our goal for our next meeting is to report out on all of these and to start to combine, as Mike said, all of the goals so that we don't have overlap, or I think we are allowed to have overlap too. Sharon will be back with us.
Our next meeting is when?
Yes,
I think if you grow your hair longer.
April the 10th.
thank you.
April the 10th is our next meeting.
It's hard for me to dive in and out of group work and work as a facilitator, but thank you all. You guys were really wonderful. Tonight, you were very kind to me and patient with me. You were good to me.
April 14th is the next meeting.
April 14th is our next meeting.
I won't be here, but I'll do my.
Well, we have spring. Everyone here is encouraged to get on the computer, to meet face to face. There is nothing that says that the people in this room cannot continue to have these discussions outside of this room to help bring something back to this committee, is my understanding. I mean, we can work in our subcommittees and continue to draft really good goals. So I would actually encourage everybody, if there's something you have a passion about or something that you believe has to be in place for the start of the next school year, that you do that. You meet with your group and forge what you need to forge. Mike?
Speaking from the Every Student, Every School subcommittee, we've agreed to, we haven't determined the time yet, but we've agreed to do just that, is set a time when we'll meet before April 14th to dig deeper as well. And I would just, when we come back on April 14th, there's still a lot to be done. So I would suggest focusing specifically, of course, want to be as comprehensive as possible and look at every perspective, every aspect of it, but I would focus on developing those immediate action plans that we're looking for day one or by day one of 2012, 2013. I mean, if worst case scenario, we can always put recommendations in place that buy us time for successive years, but it'll be crunch time to have all those immediate action items that we need to have in place. So that would just be a
It takes them a long time sometimes. It takes a long time to implement things, and I think members of the committee with young children need to really take this seriously.
I think that's a good ending thought. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I move.
Second? In favor? We're adjourned.